Well, it has been, I guess, the windiest in recorded history in Oklahoma this last week. We had the worst fire damage across the state. Luckily, we dodged the bullet and we didn't have any damage. We were lucky. We had a bunch of plywood I had stacked for a project, and I had a big log chain on a tarp kind of weighting it all down, and I'll show you the picture. It almost took our solar out, but by the grace of God, it missed it by a little bit, and we were able to pick it all up. Here's what it looked like. So anyhow, now we're back and it's time to kind of clean up all the mess. I was picking up trash the other day and getting everything cleaned up, but you know, we had sustained 50-mile-an-hour winds for over 6 hours and then 70 to 80-mile-an-hour gusts. So we have a bunch of stuff that we've got to pick up, but I also had some other projects that we were doing and stuff that I'll show you guys. So one of my favorite things that I've done on our place is, and people call it river cane, they call it different stuff, but its scientific name is Arundodomax, and it is a fast growing cane. It's not a bamboo, it's a cane. It's got a real shallow root system that will spread and take off really fast. However, it's not hard to dig up all the roots and get rid of it, and you can mow it and keep it in control. But with it growing as fast and having a shallow root system like it does, it absorbs a lot of chemicals. It's very chemical resistant. It grows really tall. We got company. My ducks are thinking they're going to get fed. So anyhow, it grows really fast, and in the process it'll absorb all the chemicals up out of the ground and really neutralize and sterilize the ground if you're in a place that's got a lot of chemical problems. I like it because even in the wintertime when it goes dormant, it's still there. So what we've done is I've dug up a bunch of it where I've cut the tops off down there, and I dug up a bunch of the roots going down my whole fence row, which I'll walk out here and show you guys. And it grows tall enough that when the air tractors come by and spray the crops, or when the regular tractors spray the crops, they're low enough to the ground that the spray will get caught by these. So we live in cotton country, literally, like across the road is cotton country, and more chemicals than anything else I know. They spray it with herbicides to keep the different weeds from getting in there so it's not contaminating the cotton. It's got a million different bugs that cause problems with it, so they got to spray for the bugs. And it's just a really a bad crop to try to have an organic crop next to. So what I've done, and we actually, you can see down there, you can see some kind of growing by the ditch over there. And a bunch of it got sprayed too young and it didn't make it. So I have went through, and about every 16 inches I've dug a hole and we planted the roots that we took off. Now of what I've planted here, that is about 5 years old, I think, around the pond. Now we've been hit with some overspray from chemicals at times, and anything inside the pond made it. It blocked the wind, it gives birds habitat, it gives insects habitat. It's kind of cool since we've done that, and we quit putting all the spray around here. We have tons of horny toads that come out here now, and they're just cool to have around. But we have horny toads now, we have lightning bugs, and I haven't seen lightning bugs in 20 years. But leaving everything alone and letting it kind of be its own thing and building this windbreak has really helped us. Now this Arundodomax, river cane, whatever you want to call it, I like it. It's handy as can be. I make my trellises out of it, I make my garden stakes out of it, I do a ton of stuff with it. You can grind it up and use it for mulch. It's just it's a handy thing to have. Now everybody on here is going to comment and say, oh, it'll get completely out of control. It could if you just let it be and didn't do anything. But if you mow around it, it stays good. My old property that I had, I planted a piece by my pond, and I was able to keep it that way for years and years. So it does fine as long as you keep control of it. Well, we're doing our whole fence around the agricultural side. Now our front yard, we've planted all in basically wildflowers. I literally put a 5-gallon bucket of wildflower seeds in the front 2 acres that's in front of our house. But everything else we're incorporating into this, our actual traditional bamboo. So we hopefully will be able to build the privacy fence that'll block the wind, block the sound, give our animals a little bit more, peace, quiet. And then when we're out in the yard, we're not bothered by people, and we don't see people and they don't see us, and it builds a big privacy deal keeps animals out. It grows thick enough, you know, hopefully it'll keep the coyotes and stuff from being able to dig through the fence, stuff like that. So it's going to be a pretty handy deal when it's all done. But the uses of, like, I'm literally building a cool looking pergola type deal, building, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to literally thatch the roof with some of these pieces that we've cut off where I was digging up the roots, and we're going to do a bunch of landscaping features and stuff like that. But I use it to make my archways, I use it to make my trellises, it makes good tomato stakes. It's just an amazing use, something that you can plant. I dug some up off of a place. Each one of them clumps that I showed you was literally just a little ball of root, and I dug enough roots that I've been able to plant this whole thing, and in the next few weeks we'll have the entire property cornered off with that stuff. So it's a great product to have on a farm for usefulness. And it really, if you're somewhere where they're spraying next to you, you can build a wind block out of this, and it'll really keep the damages down on that. So that's what we're basically trying to do, is encompass all of our property to where anywhere we have fruit trees or anything like that, these things are going to block any chances of any chemicals coming to them. So that's what we're doing there. So anyhow, we're going to go work on the chicken coop and try to get it done. And then I've been building some fence. I'll show you guys some of that stuff and just all the projects. But today we're going to try to get our chicken coop to where if we go out of town, that the chickens are have a big enough run that's protected to where they can go up and be up on their own, but that they can come outside and we don't have to have somebody to come here and do it for them. We're going to put some automatic feeders and stuff like that in there too. So that is today's project. But here in a minute, on my way over there, I'll show you guys the work I've been doing on some of our other stuff. Now, the other day I showed you guys where I was putting fence posts up and working on our little project of closing basically our food forest area to where it's going to all be vined up, landscaped, and we're going to include that landscaping into the north end of our pond, basically making about another 10,000 square feet of landscaped areas to be able to sit down and visit and rest. And when people come for fishing classes and stuff like that, that we can do all that. That is one thing I do. I do like fly tying classes and fly casting classes on our pond. That's kind of what I've dug it for. So right here, I'll show you guys. So in the future, right here in this corner, this little spot here, I'm going to build like an A-frame log cabin. And this is the fence that I put up not yesterday, 3 or 4 days ago, whenever it was. And you can see how I kind of made a little overhead gateway going in, and I'm going to put some like bar doors on there that swing in, and then all that fence we're going to decorate it with cane to where it kind of looks like the old Mr. Miyagi kind of yard. And we're doing every bit of it as much as we can. And to save money, I have access to a whole bunch of telephone poles, and we had a bunch delivered today. It was cheaper for me to get a sawmill and get some telephone poles and create my own lumber to do all this. So I'm going to build the bridge that goes out to the island of my pond, a bunch of the features out here and landscape features, some picnic tables, the trailer to the floor to my flatbed trailer I'm going to replace. And we're going to do that all with telephone poles. This is the first load of many that we're going to get, and we're going to bring them in. And you can see I've used them for like my corner posts and then our entryway and stuff. So it's a economical way of doing it. They're a little bit heavy, they're a little bit big, you got to dig some bigger holes, but man, they'll last forever. I know people who have used them and they haven't had to replace them ever in 50-60 years. So, and being as thick as they are, you can get a bigger, stronger grip on them, and when stretching fence, they're just a pretty handy deal. So anyhow, we're going to get after our chicken run and try to make it to where it's a little easier if we have to be gone for a day or two, that we don't have to let them out, because we let our chickens free roam everywhere. So we're going to do that, and we have so many of them that it's pretty tight quarters for them now. So we're going to work on getting that done, and then pick up the rest of the trash that's blown into our yard and whatever else comes along. So I'll see you guys here in a few minutes. Well, it is late in the evening, and we finally got our chicken pen up. It's a little bit redneck, but it's going to work just fine for what we need. So this is it. We made some dog pens that we had, and we put a shade tarp on top, and then a bunch of 2x4 welded wire on top so nothing can get in. So it'll give them a great big area. We put a pond in there for the ducks, and it should be something that kind of works. So when we're gone for a few days, we can let our animals kind of run around. So that's our day. So hope you guys are having a good one. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.